Hello, everybody. This is a new edition of a new podcast. Tommy is very busy. I'm very busy. We're in the middle of school, about to be applying to colleges. But right now, I'm here with my buddy Brandon, and we're going to be focusing on what do you think will our focus be with these
Well,
new
usually
set
it's usually it's tech related stuff, but today we're doing a free talk video, so it'll
free
be
talk video?
whatever hits the brain, we're gonna release it through the mic.
And I'd say that we're both like also very interested in stocks and investing. So we're going to be calling this Young Investing
Young investing.
because we're young and we're investing our time and our money.
That is true, but it's been a minute since we visited our portfolio, so maybe we'll go ahead and do that later.
All right. Well, first thing we want to talk about are the new phones that are coming out.
New phones. You want to start off there?
I mean, I'm down to start wherever.
You just wanna-
What's on your mind most, Brandon? You seem like there's something you want to start with, or is there not?
I don't know. I mean, I usually like to start like pop culture stuff because it's always. I mean, you go on social media.
All right, yeah, pop
and it's-
culture.
And it's slammed in your face.
Yep.
I mean, you
That's
know
why I
of any-
deleted my social media. I don't have it
Delete
anymore.
your social. I mean, it's a thing nowadays, I guess, to like promote yourself over social media.
Oh yeah, definitely, definitely.
And I mean, you got anything pop culture stuff you want to go over?
Pop culture. Well, I'm not one of those people that follows a lot of I don't follow like celebrity news at all, actually.
Really?
Like, I'll just be walking in school and I hear somebody freaking out about something and I'll listen, and it's something like Jay-Z's cheating on Beyonce.
That's the funny thing, though. Is that
Oh my god.
it's funny because you always see that stuff like online, but in real life, I never really see anybody flip out because like celebrities are doing something.
Imagine what it's like though for celebrities like that. They feel like the entire world is like,
It revolves around them,
yeah.
and
or
for
they're
the
looking
most
at
part,
them.
it does because I mean, their whole life gets documented, whether they want to or not.
That would be probably one of the most like insane moments or like feelings is when you go from not being famous and then being famous.
Suddenly famous.
And then that point, like overnight, that's rare, but nonetheless, going from not being famous to famous is probably just crazy.
Yeah.
Cause it's just goodbye to that life.
Goodbye to your personal time.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Cause
Yeah, but-
that's why I wouldn't want to be one of those type of stars. If you're
Yeah.
if you're like one of those like if you're like an artist, or you're like type of like Kardashian or TV show, if you're on a TV show or like a movie, in a movie, you have like a following that's crazy. But if you're like somebody who is a different type of influencer, you don't have the type of attraction that they do. There's not people that like care who you're marrying and like
yeah.
what clothes you're wearing that day. Like
Yeah.
they're not thinking about that. They're thinking about, and that's what I would prefer.
But I feel like someone like Elon Musk, who we've talked about, earlier on, he's someone where it's sort of he's reached that peak of like celebrity status
Yeah, which is
because
funny.
he's doing some
He's
crazy
the real
stuff.
Iron Man, bro.
Honestly, I mean he's making some crazy things. One of the most innovative people in our generation, and a lot of people see him to be. I mean he's even in rap songs now.
People drop his name around.
Tyler the Creator dropped his name on his last album. Little Uzi Vert dropped his name on his last album with his song Pharrell Williams, Neon Cuts. You should listen to that song sometime. It's a classic banger.
I have not heard it.
Honestly, his album I didn't think was that good.
The new one.
The new one, Love Is Rage 2.
Okay.
I feel like he's one of those people where it's like, if you look, he's one of those people that's been sort of destroyed by the industry. I feel like, well, not just the industry, his label, because
so?
if you look at like earlier videos of Uzi when he's rapping, it's his flow is nice. I mean, they're never really saying stuff. Like, they're never gonna be saying lyrical stuff like that. But you could say that he was like a better rapper than he was now because mainly it's just like 3-word bars and then ad libs.
Yeah, they say what I've noticed from like just headlines is they say it's mumble rap. It's like the
Oh,
word
it's
that I
definitely
see.
it's definitely mumble
So
rap.
who would you say is in that category of being very mainstream and also very mumble rappy?
I find there's like when I look at like that criteria, especially for mumble rappers, I take them at polar ends, and that the industry standpoint of like all these mumble rappers I feel like Future is the one that everybody tries to be like when it's like mumble rapping because it's like hard beats. You have no idea what he's saying, and I feel like,
And it has no like real meaning.
but yeah, but
Well,
I mean, but he
his
sounds more
newer one
generic.
has one. The Hendrix one has a little bit of more
Yeah, that's
like
definitely more
essence to
like
it. Or
R&B
yeah.
sort of thing. I mean, they still label it as hip hop and rap,
Oh yeah.
but I see it more as R&B. But on the other end of the spectrum, I feel like Young Thug has embraced that mumble rap, but he's so unique in the way he does it, and his
Yeah.
ad libs are so on point that
Young
like
Thug, just like he seems like he's just like such a funny guy.
he is funny, like his, and that's what gets people. If your songs are funny and you're unique, you get like a fan base that's bigger than you are,
I mean
and I feel like that's where he reaches people.
I really like that, but then there's people like Travis Scott and like
Well,
we
that
had this conversation.
yeah, we had this one
We
before.
love Travis Scott. Like we think he's an amazing producer and rapper, but like you see how he acts and he treats people.
I feel like the industry has screwed him over because actually I feel like it's done him good and from like a monetary standpoint
Oh yeah.
and where he's gone with his music. But if you look earlier on like Rodeo, I mean there wasn't really anything like it. He was producing his own sound, which was
Yep,
good and a lot of
definitely.
people liked it. You know, there's this one dude I watch, he's called The Needle Drop. Shout out to him on YouTube. But he puts out a lot of music reviews, and he even said it was good. You know, he was coming out with unique sound no one really heard before. And then as he got bigger, the record label probably asked him, you should probably make stuff for bigger audiences. So that's when you get like Birds in the Trap, Sing McKnight. I mean, not saying that that was a bad album, but those songs were made for bigger audiences. Like Goosebumps, I mean, I've heard that song so many times, it's crazy. My mom likes that song. My mom doesn't like rap. And that just lets you know that, like, at some point, it becomes more about making money and making songs that are for everybody than your casual, like, rap fan.
When you're that big, definitely.
Definitely when you're that big.
And what about Lil Uzi? Is he losing it?
Is he losing it?
Like, is he losing that touch? Not going crazy.
Honestly, I think it's too early to tell because I feel like he does have that, like, star quality to his music, even if it is sort of crappy. I mean, some of it, they're bangers. I mean, a lot of people have, you could say they have like crappy lyrics and stuff, but if you can't doubt that some songs are bangers, they just have that flow, they have that beat, they have that feel to it, and I feel like he has the potential to put out more. I feel like this one, it was like, and I was listening to somebody else. Remember Everyday Struggle, Complex, those people.
Yeah.
They were talking about it. And this project, it seemed rushed, but he's supposedly been working on it for like a couple years. So, or I don't even know if it was a couple years. Maybe it was like a year or so. But, it seems rushed. And that's not a good thing. When you have a lot of time to put out a project and it seems rushed, that shouldn't happen. It's the same thing that happened with Logic.
You think he rushed?
Logic?
Yeah.
I
He makes things fast. He drops things really fast.
feel like he should have, for a concept album, and have we talked about this before?
Yeah, we talked about the concept
Okay.
album.
When you or if you haven't listened to us before, talk about it. When you put out a concept album, you should make sure that the point that you're trying to, bring up is solid, and you do it in a manner where you're not, you know, stating the same concept over and over again.
But
That
you're
doesn't become redundant.
And you're
after
also
a-
like subtle
yeah,
about it, kind of.
don't drop like. So his whole thing was, I'm white, I'm black. So every song was, I'm white, I'm black. I'm white, I'm black. Am I white? No, I'm black. Am I black? No, I'm white. So, and at some point, I mean, it becomes repetitive, and you're just like, man, I can't even listen to this anymore. When I was listening to the album, I mean, like the first song was called like Hallelujah, and it was pretty good. And like and that's the thing that a lot of people get him on too. His production is on point, and most of his stuff, I'm pretty sure, is he has this one producer named Six that he's been making stuff with for a while, but most of the stuff he like produces by himself, and he actually incorporates like other instruments and stuff too. But with this one in particular, I feel like he didn't really know how to bring up such a big topic, because he was trying to like the title of the album is called Everybody, and he's trying to reach everybody, not just this, I'm white, I'm black thing. He's
Well,
trying to take it from different
from
perspectives.
from that one, I know the one that had a huge impact was that 1-800 the
1-800,
suicide
yeah, and then
hotline,
and
and they
it
had a
blew up.
music video that like blew up too.
Yeah,
Yeah. I mean that song, like when I listen to it, it sounds like pop, like to me, like a little bit,
yeah,
but at the same time, like it has I really like it's some real instruments in there for sure,
yeah.
and that's like really cool. But that was the only song that I heard from that album
No,
because that one's just overplayed. People are fucking freaking out about that song
yeah,
and the video,
definitely, because
and I understand definitely why.
I feel like that's also the label too. When you put out a project like that, you need to have one song. You try to have one song when you're a person that's like, honestly, I feel like he's gonna be pretty big now, because I mean there was a lot of hype leading up to his album, and a lot of people know who he is, whether good, bad, or indifferent. But you need to have one song that you know is gonna do well. Like you need to have a single that people are gonna play on the radio, so you can raise that clout. And so in his case, it was that one eight
The
hundred.
clout level.
It was that 1-800 song, and so yeah, it definitely seems like pop, but I feel like he was trying to reach a pivotal point in his career where he could bring out something that was controversial, but then also important to society,
Yeah.
but then make it like an actual song that people could listen to.
Well, the thing is though, is when I listen to it, um, just hearing "I Don't Want to Be Alive," I was
Oh,
just like,
it sounds super corny.
yeah, yeah, and then at the same time, I was like, with just the song, I'm lost with what the meaning really is, but with the video, I totally understand.
Yeah,
But like in the song, he switches from him singing like as if he's the person that wants to die,
yeah,
and then he's singing also from as if the other point of view of someone trying to make him feel better,
yeah,
and that just threw me off, and I was just like, "What the hell?" So now I was like, "I gotta look up this video," because
yeah,
I noticed that that song had, that album had come out,
yeah,
and it had totally, uh, already like when it had come out, I heard it playing in different places, and I was like,
yeah,
"All right, I gotta sit down and actually like listen to it."
yeah.
But
No, definitely. Honestly, it's not my favorite song on the album.
Is
I
there better
really,
ones?
huh?
Better ones? Are they all kind of dramatic though and stuff?
A lot of them are. I like this one. It's called Confess, because you can't really see that big the concept they're trying to go for. It's not like shoved down your throat in that song, and he incorporates a lot of instruments and like other aspects of it that make the song's pretty good. If you're gonna listen to the album, you should probably just listen to Confess, Hallelujah. Take It Back is pretty good, but then like it's weird because that song's like a banger. Take It Back is a banger, but then in the middle, he just starts talking for no reason, and it's like, why are you doing this? Like it seems like at some point like you're trying to like make people roast you, like roast your album. Like I don't know. That's just me. I'm a fan of him. I feel like he could have done a lot better, but what he said, because I've heard him say this, he's like, I don't care what people say. He's like, I needed to make this album for myself. I mean, yeah, that's sort of a.
No.
I mean,
What does that
it's sort
mean?
of like,
Okay,
I
maybe.
have
Okay,
no
no,
idea.
I shouldn't jump to conclusions. What does that mean to make it for yourself?
I
There's something
feel like
else that he had to like.
He feels like he's at a point where he can reach people, so he needs to make a song, or he needs to make an album that
Makes
can
a
reach everybody.
positive impact in somebody else's
Hence
life.
the name, Everybody.
Okay, all right.
But I wasn't feeling it. I feel like his other thing, like his other projects, I don't know why they get so much hate, but I really liked them. I feel like it's the same reason that J. Cole gets hated on sometimes, because it's corny. You don't like people talking about it, like, but at the same time they're like, all right, give us real songs, real hip hop. I want to learn about the struggles. What are you going through? Real stuff. People drop some real stuff. You're like, nah, this is corny. Why are you talking about this? You'd be talking about cars, money, all this other stuff. So people really need to, decide whether they want to listen to garbage or they want to listen to some actual stuff. I don't know. It's just me.
Yeah, I agree. There's no in between either in rap, hip hop.
Definitely not. Definitely not. But what I like is like, um, now there's like I don't know if it's like a separate genre because the weekend has been doing this for a while. There's sort of like um people like singers, R&B singers, and the words like it's sort of like it comes off as like a hip hop song, but they're like singing it like in his case, but like now it's more like trap beats, like they're over trap beats or like radio
Yeah.
beats, but they're singing.
It's a new thing.
And it is, I mean, I like it. It's innovative. It's not something that you really could dance to. It's more like simpy stuff. Some of it's a lot.
I really like listening to it though.
Yeah, it's. I mean, it's cool. It's just like you got your headphones in. I feel like there's a difference between headphone music,
Stereo, definitely.
headphone music, and stereo music. When you're in the car, you're like at a party or something. You're just trying to blare something.
Yeah.
You're not really.
Well, actually, when I'm in the car alone,
Oh yeah, I mean, you drive by yourself. That's a whole different thing. But people say, "Hand me the aux." Like there's other people in the car, and you're just trying to get hyped.
nah, if people saw me like and could hear what I was listening to in the car, I'm blasting like Metallica or like I'll also be switching to all these different genres like
Yeah.
all the time.
Definitely.
That's just that's what I've always done. But
That's
what I've
me
noticed,
too.
the second I hit like let's see when was the point do you think when all of a sudden you realized that everybody was into rap music? That was like the thing.
Let me think. It was definitely in the last like 5 years or so. I feel like it really died off. The 2010 when whenever Little Wayne and Drake were at their peak together.
Oh yeah.
That was the start of like the whole, I feel like Lil Wayne brought in like the punchline sort of thing. He brought in like the funny bars and like the actual bars with it. And that was sort of like the pinnacle of his career because he's passing the torch to Drake. And then everybody's like, who's this Drake dude? He's pretty good. And then, but he incorporated the like the pop
Oh yeah,
pop-
Drake did
pop
everything,
rap.
dude.
aspect of hip hop.
Drake did
And
everything. Now people are
after-
some kind of hate on Drake though,
Yeah.
which is funny.
But I feel like when it got to the point where it was like, I feel like we're sort of like reiterating what we said like in our last video, but but like I feel like when it reached the point was like, you get like all these SoundCloud rappers.
Yeah,
All these people that can basically just go out and put music on SoundCloud.
I think that's really cool though that you can do that, but then there's just a lot of garbage too.
What I feel like is that you get all these. I feel like it's good for people because it gives them something to work towards. Like you hear people that are like, "Oh, what are you doing?" It's like I'm making music. I put them on SoundCloud. It's like, "Oh, that's cool," but you get a lot of people that are trying to do this, but how many succeed? It's sort of like the same thing of. I feel like it's the equivalent of like playing sports, in a manner.
That makes sense. Going
Ex-
pro.
Exactly.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, when you break that threshold, there's definitely. That's why I feel like it's underappreciated to a point because people do try and they put in a lot of effort to make
Definitely.
it big. Just as like they would in sports. I mean, it's just a different grind.
I think it's the same with YouTube. I think it's the same with every like phenomenon of getting like into like the public view like that. Like on the internet though. Like it's different going education, working a job and then going up like in a corporate like world.
It's definitely knowing that it's going to be harder and that you're not following the rest of, society and just like
Yeah, and there's no one guiding you.
exactly.
It's,
It's yourself.
Yeah, there's no like people don't really like give advice, I don't
No.
think.
That's why I give them mad props to an extent because they're still at the end of the day most of them aren't really putting out good content. But getting back to your other question, I feel like rap reached its peak in like probably like in the last couple years because of the incorporation of like rap into like mainstream pop culture. Because when you see all this crap about like celebrities and stuff, it basically revolves around like hip hop and like rappers and stuff like that. I feel like at some point they just became, the people to look towards because it was flashy, it was dangerous, it was something that rock used to be and how big that used to be and the influence that they had in society just became that. But yeah, that's our pop culture. segment. I don't know if you want to end it there.
No. Let's keep going.
All right, let's look up. Let's
gotta,
look up
we
some.
gotta check out what else we got.
What do we have pulled up here? Oof, did we tech radar? What do you want to talk about first? iPhone 8 or the X? The Xbox One X. Which one do you want to talk about first?
I'm down for whatever.
All right, let's talk about this iPhone 8 first. Oh,
iPhone 8.
yeah. All right.
Okay, well, what I feel about Apple is I feel that what they are doing now, and they've mastered this, is they have all these different ways to use third-party developers to their like fullest advantage. And what I mean by that is, let's just say like the App Store. They just announced, they announced iOS 11, the new watch, the 2 new iPhones, and I think that's it. But along with that, they announced this AR kit, which is like this thing that developers can use to make more AR type of games, which I think is going to be another disruption of the market. I think AR is going to be pretty big, but not yet. I think it's still a little too new. But that's what Apple's plan is that they've made this tool, and now the developers will use this tool, and then Apple's going to see what's popular and what's not, and then they're going to jump on it.
Yeah.
So that's what I see them do now every single time. When I watch a keynote, I'm really excited, and there's very cool stuff because they're just very, I think Apple's like just very cool company. But the problem is I don't think they're making any, they're not taking any more risks anymore. They're not really like jumping the gun. They're just kind of like.
I feel like they have taken a risk with this new phone, the X. And
How so?
Because of like, well, I mean, like they've sort of. I feel like this is the first time where another company or another phone, or what have you, has beat them to the punch. Because I mean, you get the Samsung. Which one had the? What was the first one to have the charging feature where you just put it on a pad?
I don't know which one exactly. There's a article, I don't remember where it is, but Qualcomm released an article because they're pissy about them not using the chip, and they basically showed every single thing that Apple has announced in their keynote.
Yeah.
Where it had already been announced in an Android phone, and it's already been made.
Really?
So wireless charging, unlocking with your face, the full, screen display, and there's like, of course, Apple does it in a way better way. They always do. Like they always take these things and they just like professionalize it, or they like make it way more like simple and like easy to use and like reliable. But that's what I mean. What's something that they've done in this new phone that no other phone has really done? There's there's a couple of things, but there's not really.
That's what I mean. I feel like Apple will always put out products that are superior to other phones in the area because, I mean, we've talked about this before, on and off the podcast, that Apple makes their products specifically for a certain hardware. So their software is tethered perfectly to their to the software that they put out. And so it just gives you a different experience than using like an Android. And I mean, you can speak from experience, but I feel like this is the first time that they've jumped on the gun late. That, I mean, yeah, iPhones are basically bulletproof software wise. I mean, you'll never get a virus. You won't really have any problems. It's easy to use. User interface is really good. But the only thing that they're really bringing to the party, which is Face ID, which I feel is really unnecessary. If you could find a way to keep the home button in, but make it full screen, so just like you have a portion of the screen that you would put your thumb down and it would still recognize it, I feel like then you could totally go full screen display, and it would look 10 times as better. But I feel like this is the first time that they're in a situation where they're not leading innovation, and I feel like they're hitting themselves again dropping this iPhone 8 because the new phone, the iPhone X, it costs $1,000 to make, right?
Yeah, it's a base model too.
Or not to make, but
It's retail.
it's
Starting,
$1,000 retail, and then this new iPhone 8, which is basically not even
The same.
it's the same as the iPhone 7.
It'll be really fast though.
I mean, but
that A11 Bionic, or no, A10 Bionic. Is it A10? I don't even remember.
A11 Bionic, but I read that you can barely even tell the difference between the two.
Yeah.
And so, like, unless you're like looking at it,
You're playing some mad games,
you're
some
playing
crazy
some crazy
games.
iOS games, you won't really see a difference.
Yeah.
And I feel like they're sort of kicking themselves, because why would you allocate resources for both phones when you can make one really good phone in the X but make it more affordable?
Still though, at the same time, I don't think they're fucked with this because they did the exact same thing, but even worse with the 5C launch.
Yeah,
That was just like was
Yeah.
so stupid.
the 5C was I totally forgot about
But
that.
then there were
But
a
the
lot of people that bought
A
it.
lot of people had 5Cs.
It's just kind of like
I feel like in that sense,
two different types of
Apple-
people.
I was I was reading this article. I was talking to my dad about it too. Is the title of it "Apple is a Cult," and I totally believe that because
are a cult.
people follow Apple religiously. I mean, as it is, we're talking about Apple right now.
Oh no, and you know what's funny too, is they're like, I don't even know what to call this. The fact that we're having this argument, there's tons of nerds and geeks everywhere that are like, oh my god, Android did all this first.
Yeah.
Apple sucks. And then there's all these people that this iPhone announcement comes out and they've never heard of any of this stuff before. And they're just convinced like Apple is revolutionary. They're like ahead of the curve
Exactly.
because they don't read about this stuff. They're
No.
not like,
People don't put it.
they're not
the
into
time
it
to
like
learn
we
about
are. So
No.
how does Apple grab that market though? How do they get those people?
Because they've built up a fan base over time of people who are dedicated to only looking at Apple technology.
And it's just so simple. That's what I think. It's just such a simple.
Yeah.
Like it's so easy to use. Like I feel like there's like nobody who doesn't know how to dial somebody up on an iPhone or.
I mean, there's honestly some people who like don't figure it out, but if you actually try,
Yeah, it's pretty
really-
intuitive.
But I feel like, because I've seen older people, they have problems with like figuring out how their phone works, and honestly, but like, it definitely comes easier to millennials if we just pick up something, like especially for video games or like other things. We pick it up and usually we can figure out how to work it, and I mean it even works now with phones, but I feel like they made it to the point where no matter how old you are, how young you are, if you put in the time, like with minimal effort, you can figure out how to work your phone. And what's your phone mainly for?
Calling and texting people?
Calling and texting people, get a hold with each other.
Not anymore, though. I feel like people use their phone way more for other things.
No, but that's what phones are known for.
Yeah, that's what.
So I'm pretty sure you can figure out how to do that. And if if that's a primary, task that the phone takes, then you should be able to learn how to do it. And I feel like they make it easier for you to know how to do that.
I really wonder what will be when we're seniors. The thing that will be like lacking and slow at like picking up.
I don't know. I feel like technology is growing at such
Alarming rate,
an alarming rate that
to say the least.
it becomes scary. I mean, like the last, I don't know, was it in our last podcast we were talking about AIs?
Ah,
Yeah, the last one we posted, we were talking about AIs. I mean,
AI and machine learning.
like a decade later or a decade earlier, I don't think we're worrying about AIs to
think
the
some
extent
people
that we're
were.
worried about them now.
Yeah, but now it's Well, do you think it's true that technology grows exponentially? So as long as humans are alive, we don't just blow each other up and kill, like we don't just all die. Things will just exponentially get more advanced to the point like even things that we can't even like begin to like comprehend. Like if someone came from the future like hundreds of thousands of years.
So this is like a Terminator scenario.
Yeah, okay, so just say, maybe they'd be like unrecognizable. They'd be like gods. They wouldn't even be able to talk to us. We'd be like it'd be another species of like.
It's
I mean,
definitely
I don't-
growing at a rate that I feel like that we can't handle. And at some point we're gonna be forced to deal with it. But for right now, I mean, it's honestly fun to learn about the new things that are coming out.
Oh, absolutely.
The only thing that worries me is just AI. And I feel like if we have regulations that are set around it, then
Who's gonna do that though? The government, and like who's gonna help with?
I
Because
feel
like
like
who
it's
in the
people.
government knows what's up?
I feel like it's people who understand.
Like
Like
who
people,
understands? Like how do you clarify?
I feel
who
like
understands?
Elon Musk is a person that you would, and this is where not bringing politics into it, but you know, um, he had Trump had Elon Musk on one of his councils for something. I think it was for like environmental things or whatever.
That
But
makes sense.
he was working closely with Donald Trump. Elon Musk knows a lot about this AI stuff, and he was willing to help him. I mean, granted it was for environmental stuff, but AI is a big thing too. And given how strongly Elon Musk feels about it, I feel like he could have talked to, Donald Trump. He's like, all right, and here's some regulations that you need, blah blah blah.
I'm sure.
I mean,
Elon
and
Musk
he
has said
employs
things to others.
he employs the smartest people in the world, and Elon Musk does. So I'm pretty sure you can find some people that know what this stuff's about and can explain it to some.
Yeah, but think about it, though. There's tons. I read tons of articles of people that are basically saying Elon Musk is full of crap, and or not even that. That they believe that there is a big risk to AI, but why monitor it? Why stop it from happening? Like it's not stoppable, and we should just let it.
because it threatens people's mortality. I feel like that's what it is. I mean,
But the
why
thing
would
is,
you want something to
when
exceed your life? We've built our culture around us being the apex predators or the
Yeah, I
pinnacle
agree.
of the or the earth.
And I think you're right with that too, because I will tell people that are, I don't know what the age, like what at what point people start to look the other way, but there's a lot of people I say this to. I talk about the AI, and they're just like, "No, impossible. There's no way. It's not gonna happen." It's just all these futurists just saying stuff. It's not gonna
Honestly,
happen.
honestly, just give it some time. I don't think we need to worry about it now, but I mean,
Well, there's people probably already worrying about it,
no,
and working
there's
on it.
definitely people, but for
Definitely.
people like us, I mean, we shouldn't be worried about. It. We should see how it changes society in the next couple years, and when it becomes a, I mean, we should start right now, but when it becomes a threat, it's time to take action.
it's about to be very crazy. We're gonna live a
Huh?
crazy life. We're gonna see some
definitely are.
crazy stuff.
All right, let's look up The Verge.
The Verge. If anyone is interested in The Verge, shout out to The Verge.
I highly
Verge, if you're
recommend.
listening.
Highly recommend this website, theverge.com. If you are us, if you're like us, and you like to just read about nerdy tech, science related stuff. I mean, even have stuff on culture on here. I mean, let's see what it's about. I mean,
We even that's how we
Martin
kept up with the
Scorsese.
keynote, because we were in school. They had live coverage of. They'll cover a lot of things live, which is nice.
True. Where's that new the Apple campus thing?
Oh, I don't remember where it is, but
I think it's still in Cupertino. Here, I'll look
Is it
it
in
up.
Cupertino? Not at One Infinity Loop though.
What's that?
That's
Oh,
the
yeah, yeah,
address. Yeah.
Is that what it's called?
Yeah, One Infinite Loop. Should be program. That's kind of funny too.
Loop. I probably spelled it wrong, but that's why we have the internet to fix this. Complete guide to Apple Park, new spaceship campus.
I read that all the people that are living there, they're totally screwed
Oh, here it is. Yeah.
because there's so much like people driving in. People can't sleep at night.
Really?
Yeah, there's way too many people coming in for work. Everyone's like, "God damn it, Apple."
So what is this? It looks like it says it's a campus.
Yeah, they just call it that, but it's gonna hire a ton of employees, like a ton, and that's the other thing. You know how Apple is just always like beautiful.
Yeah.
It's literally like, just look at the architecture. It's
No, this is crazy.
it's insane, and that was like, I read this other article that it was just one of this guy that was he was one of the architects that was working on the Apple campus
Yeah.
with Steve Jobs. So Steve Jobs had already planned out everything before he had died, and that was what he wanted to be built when he died.
Really?
And he would even come in and tell this guy what like wood he wanted, and he wanted it to be like from this tree, but like soaked in like this like water for like this
Yeah,
amount of
yeah, yeah.
like Steve Jobs was just like crazy about like little tiny details like in the campus. So like the whole thing is crazy. There's all this crazy architecture and like little tiny products that they make just for their like employees there too.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and I'm sure they have like really crazy teams for like different the different departments of stuff that they do.
Yeah, it definitely seems like a place I would like to work at. I mean, look at this.
Yeah.
And then look at all these trees, too. Like inside, that's crazy. And that's what Apple's doing too. And during the keynote, did
Looks
you
like a UFO.
you see the thing where they're putting in like a bunch of trees and like other greenery inside Apple stores?
Wait, what? Inside the store?
Yeah, they're talking about that in the keynote. They're making it seem like it's, I don't know, like it's more green or something.
Huh.
I feel like it's part of their initiative to become more sustainable, like other companies. See, look at iPhone X feels like it's the future of the smartphone. I honestly think it is, because you get all these other people that put out their products, but Apple they put out their stuff and they do it right. They do
Too
it
bad
right.
it's too expensive for me.
Yeah, I'm never gonna be able to afford one of these
Well,
things. So
later, you know,
straight later.
3 years down the line, that's gonna be. It's old. iPhone X. It's old.
It is. True. All right, what's something else we can
Let's see.
talk about now? Oh, my favorite thing. Let's talk about it. What do you think it is? Right now.
Review, bruh.
No.
uh,
Something I've been doing like every day.
Destiny 2.
Destiny 2. I've been
All right,
playing-
Brandon's about to nerd out.
So I got this game 2 weeks ago.
All right, wait, before you begin.
Yeah.
I had Destiny 1. I loved it. I was having the best time of my life. I'm playing this game. Oh, man. The combat was just, like, incredible. I loved it. I got to level 20, and I was like, what is this light level? What does this mean? And I was like, wait, I'm playing the same levels over and over again? Just to play hours and hours just to get tiny little level increments of my armor? Like, fuck, $60 for this? I was pissed. So, I still need to be convinced that the new one, Destiny 2, is not so much of a grind, but I don't know. Let's see what Brandon has to say.
It's definitely a grind, but I feel like they've added so many other things to the game to make you play it. Because honestly, I've heard all the things about Destiny 1 and how it was basically just a stupid grind and that you're just doing the same thing over and over again. And obviously you're going to catch some of that in Destiny 2. But they give you multiple things to do. There's the armor system in it too. I mean, it's so addictive. And I feel like, honestly, for me, I'm nerding out because I didn't play the first one a lot. I maybe played it like once or twice and not for a long time. But for this one, it's just something that when you get like a game that's like an RPG MMO that's also a FPS, a first-person shooter, I don't know. There's something about it that just makes you want to play.
Brandon's in heaven.
I don't know. I like the game.
I love first-person shooters
When
too.
you-
I don't
And
know
that's the
what it
thing
is.
that Activision, I feel like this is where I feel like Bungie I feel like they were the people that made the game, you know, the frontiers of the game, the planets, all that other stuff. But the customization and like the guns and the gear and all that other stuff, Activision, that's their bread and butter. The microtransactions, they're like, you know what, Bungie, just make us a platform. We'll make you, we can make you even more money because we know how to get these people to spend money on stuff they don't need. So they're going to spend money so that in order for them to get more engrams so that they can get
The Ingrams.
so that they can get more armor or guns or skins or shaders or whatever. So that they definitely know how to squeeze the money out of you one way or another.
There's a ton of games that are good at that though.
Like what?
There's tons. Like I can't even think of it, but even just like fucking Candy Crush.
Oh no.
They're genius at like just getting people to just drop little tiny microtransactions of like $1.
But for first person shooters
Yeah, no, they're
and
really good.
MMOs,
I think though, what might kick it out of the water is Battlefront 2.
so the hype around that game is ridiculous.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
But for the first one, it was the same amount of hype. And
Yeah.
after a month, people like threw the game away.
Yeah.
Do you know what happened with that? Because I honestly don't know.
Yeah, no, I had it. There just wasn't that much to it, and I think it was super disappointing because I actually hadn't played the old Battlefront
Yeah.
games, but they were supposedly really, really fun.
Yeah, I played them too.
Um,
I feel like it's about making games and I feel like this is the biggest problem that game developers face. Making a game that doesn't feel repetitive, or if it is, make it so good that people forget that it is. So like a game like Modern Warfare 2, you're basically doing the same thing. You're grinding to get new camos, guns, whatever. But the gameplay and the guns and the maps were so good that people didn't even care.
yeah, that's true.
I would spend like days on that game and I wouldn't even complain because it was just fun to play. But then you get people that are what's a game that's like a grind and that gets repetitive? People that don't even like it anymore.
Witcher,
3?
but people liked it.
No,
But
people loved it.
I heard it
Witcher
was
3.
ridiculous.
Well, we'll
with
just use
that.
Destiny 1 as an example. Because people felt that it was unfinished, the storyline wasn't there. You know, the thing that Lucas said about light levels and, you know, that whole thing. So you need to make a game that feels complete. And a lot of people said that Destiny 1 didn't feel complete. And I've read a lot of articles about Destiny 2, and they said that it feels like this game is complete. There's a lot more things you can do. I mean, even the raid and the strike system now, which are like the alternate events that you can do that get you better loot, so you can customize your character. They switch or they reset on a weekly basis, so you're not really doing like the same thing over and over again. At least I don't know from experience. It might be like that. I've only played like one strike, and I haven't done the raid yet. Just let you know, if you're a person who's considering getting the game and you've heard about strikes and how big they are and the loot you can get from them, on average, before the boss fight, it's around 6 hours to do.
Fuck that.
Honestly, I don't have time like that. I mean, it's kind of bad because I've been sacrificing my applications, my my schoolwork, and I really need to get a hold on it. I mean, honestly, like the big hype I had is over for the most part, but I really like this game, and I would highly recommend it to anybody who just wants a game that they can grind on. But yeah, I feel like the only thing that's missing is like storyline. Even though that they had a deeper one in this game, I feel like there's other games that have crazy storyline that just make you play 'em till they're done. That's why I feel like Call of Duty thrives. Except for Infinite Warfare, every other game that preceded it had a really good storyline, and it just caused more people to just grind it until they were done.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Alright, so what now? Anything you want to bring up?
There's nothing I have to say.
There's nothing you have to say?
There's nothing I have to say.
Man. Not even about anything else?
Because
we can talk about Destiny 2 all day. I can talk about food all day. I can talk about anything.
Well, okay. What I want to see, what I think would just kill the video game industry is if I told you a little bit about this, Brandon. I want another Minecraft, but it's not like any type of Minecraft. It's some type of game, maybe first-person shooter. It doesn't have to be, but I feel like that's just such a big genre now. So many people play that, and they're comfortable with it.
Yeah.
But then it's a type of game that any person can download to their computer and then make mods for, change the textures, or make their own server. Kind of like a
So an open source FPS.
open source FPS, but that has really good like combat system, really good like like level design that you can just choose
Yeah.
from the beginning, like Forge, like out of Halo, like right out of the box.
Yeah.
You don't need to be like really talented to make a map for this. Like you could just make a map and then really easily like programmable like AI or something. So maybe if you wanted to make your own like zombie level or something like that,
Yeah.
you could easily do that. And then it would be really widespread too, because I mean people already make crap tons of money off of like Roblox and Minecraft by making their own microtransactions within their own servers and just things like that. I think like that has the potential to be huge if like a big game developer put a lot of time into it and they dedicated a lot of time into it too. Not just I heard Fortnite is a new one that just came out. It's
Yeah.
supposed to be just like that.
Really.
I haven't looked at it at all, but I think that will be the future. Honestly,
It looked like a different version of Overwatch to me when I watched the trailer for it. Excuse me. I haven't watched a lot of that, but that's sort of like what BO3 on the computer was like, because a lot of people were implementing their own mods into the game.
that's
but,
cool.
But like what you've been saying is that if you're a person that like plays the game regularly and you don't know how to
Yeah, you're not gonna be able to mod anything.
yeah, like I don't, to be honest, I don't know how to like code really well or anything like that. So I'm definitely not gonna be writing my own mods for games like that. But if you have a game where like all that stuff is given to you, like in Halo, then you're able to make your own maps, your own weapons. If you could make your own weapons, that'd be crazy.
It would be over. So I'm saying you give people like customization. That's like the like you to be creative like that. Like look at that's why people would bag on Minecraft in the first place. They'd be like, oh look at the graphics. It's literally just like blocks but like it's huge that game.
Oh yeah, it's
And, like,
massive.
People like the freaking the sky's the limit, man. No, like more than that, and that's why like if you created something that was even better, like with a better engine,
Yeah,
and like, oh man, it would explode. So I feel like it'd just be huge.
but
Just be making fat cash. But that's
The thing
difficult.
is-
I imagine it's difficult.
the thing is like, 'cause yeah, you have to think about it from a like an economic standpoint
Yeah.
as well. It's like how much money are you willing to spend on research and production and all that other stuff?
That's true.
Because remember that video I showed you about it was open world games, and like the research and like the teams that they put together in order to make those games are crazy. Like it's legit teams of like 1,000 people using all different types of codes and languages. And then at some point they got to put them all together into a common language and then put it out as a game all together in one language, transferring it from all these other codes. And at some point it becomes really hard to put all that in a one coherent game, and to waste all, I'm not going to say waste because they're using the money for something that's productive, but they're using a lot of money to basically make a game for people to make, and then the people who play the game a week later usually just whine and cry about it. So I feel like people really lack the knowledge of what goes into making a video game. And I feel like $60 for a video game is honestly underpriced, given how much people, how many people spend their time into putting, a game together. And you're talking about this game. It would take a lot of research, take a lot of manpower. It would be groundbreaking if it had the right and that's another thing too. Marketing for it. Gotta make sure you're reaching your audience. The platform. If you're gonna make a game like that, you're probably gonna want to wait till you have like the console that would run it best. So like maybe the Xbox One Scorpio, which we've talked about before. Or I don't know, have we talked about it yet? It's the new Xbox that's coming out. Has crazy specs, and I feel like that would be able to run it well. But this is all skeptical. But yeah. Anything else? Honestly, should we check what our runtime is? I don't even know.
Yeah, let me check.
Did you start? Did you click this?
Yeah, it's recording. See, it just stopped recording right there.
Where? Oh yeah. 49 minutes. My bad. Alright. What else? We can look up our portfolio.
That's true, but weren't we gonna do gameplay on it?
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Well, we can just cut it because it's been how long? It's been pretty long.
Yeah, it is
I haven't even uploaded anything over an hour either.
true. I like how we just keep this in because we keep going no matter what.
We're going.
We're going.
We out here.
We're going.
Just making stuff.
We out here though.
All right, everybody. Thank you for listening.
It is the Young Investing
Young
podcast.
Investing.
This has been an episode of Free Talk where we just talk about what's ever on the dome.
Summer on the dome.
Next week or next entry,
Hopefully soon.
we'll have a coherent plan and we'll tell you guys about some stuff.
This is
Alright.
Lucas.
This is Brandon.
This is Young Investing. Peace out.